Hey guys, in this video I want to talk about the pecking order and how it relates to training horses. So we have pulled 2 or 3 horses from multiple herds and put them together on a fresh round bale, and then we had one independent horse that just came into training, so he's brand new on the property, so he's going to give us the best, the perception of how the pecking order is established. So you'll see these horses, how many times it takes to push him off feed before he finally accepts that push, how it gets stronger each time. That's what I'm going to talk about, and that's kind of how we introduce our first lesson. So at the bottom of your screen is Angus, the paint horse, and he comes into contact with Owen, black gelding we have, and Owen tells him right there that no, he's not going to come on the feed. So he just turned his butt to him, and that pressure was pretty low, and then the white horse went at him, and then Owen went at him again. So that was 3 times that he got sent away, and then these horses come at him a little bit. And notice that each time he gets sent away, it takes less pressure to send him. It's important to understand that about training, because I find if we push our horses away the same amount of pressure every time, then there's no reading that, right? We missed an opportunity to quit when they leave earlier. So you'll watch this black horse push him this time. Owen pushes him. So it takes way less pressure right there, and he even puts his head down and surrenders and walks off. And he stayed off the feeder for quite a while. And then we started the camera again just to, right before he comes onto the feeder, but you can see some other conversations take place. The Palomino out to the right of your screen, he's number 2, and the white horse that walks over him is obviously number 1. So the white horse don't have to do much, just walk to his hay, he leaves. He don't have to do much, just walk to the feeder, and he parts the sea, right? Everybody just leaves, and Angus is at the bottom of your screen. He starts to come in because this activity started changing. The pecking order started changing again. So he comes into the screen, and he sees an open spot that he can go in there. Watch how little pressure this sorrel mare has to give him. So she threatens with her leg the first time, so it's a lot of bluff, but that's the first time she sent him, so she used high pressure, but not intended to hurt him yet. And then she just looks at him, and he thinks, looks how long it takes for him to make a decision to leave and walk away. Right? And then when he puts his head down and walks away, he stays off the feeder for quite a while. When I first step into the pen and start training either a new horse or consistently training an existing horse, if the pecking order is out of whack, I need to recognize that as early as possible and release just for that. So you can see how many times it took this send on Angus for him to really understand that it's a pecking order push. That's the reason that all these horses were pushing him. So if we get in the pen, and our first goal is I need to make him lope with cadence to the left and not do any inside turns or outside turns. He should keep his attention on me all the time, go at the speed I'm asking. That's just so many things down the road. We can't build on that. Like he's still thinking about pecking order, and I'm thinking about transitions and turns. So when you think about it in order, like watching this video, and I just keep repeating it again here while I'm talking through this. So the first thing has to be the pecking order, and that you have to ask the questions, learn how to ask the questions so you realize that the pecking order is indeed established. So this white horse walking over here, it's established. All he had to do was pin his ears. He didn't charge at him. This Palomino walking over here, all he did was pin his ears. He didn't change his speed. He didn't add pressure. He just kept the energy going until the horse was parted off the gate, right? Or off the feeder. So, when Angus walks in there, this sorrel horse, because it was a new conversation with him, this sorrel horse just was pretty assertive to start with, but didn't kick him. She could have kicked him, but she just kicked out and told him no. And then because he honored that, she didn't have to add more pressure. She even toned it right down and just pinned her ears at him the next time. And you can see how long it took for him to finally leave. So this is a good example and a rule of thumb of how many times it takes to push and release a new horse to establish the pecking order. And then I find it gets shorter as days go by, right? And in the, after 2 or 3 days of doing this, I can check my horse's pecking order by putting a halter on them, starting to lead them out the gate. If they don't pass my shoulder before I get to the gate, and then once I go out the gate, they don't pass my shoulder, then, it's a pretty good test that the leadership, the pecking order has been established. And then the next time the question is asked is when I go to send them. When I go to send them as movement, forward, back, left, or right, any direction I ask for movement. If they take me down the pressure scale to a 4 by counting it out, and they take me to a 4, that tells me that they don't respect me enough to move from just pinning my ears at them, right? So you can imagine this. Let's just say this Palomino horse right here, when this white horse started walking to him, he had a certain amount of time. We'll call that a 4 count right here. And if he wouldn't have moved by the time he got to that 4 count, that white horse would have lunged at him and chased him, right? So he honored it right away. Now the same thing over here. If these horses wouldn't have moved from a suggestion, that Palomino horse would have lunged at him and chased him. So it's important to know how to ask the question in the beginning. And the first question is always, will you move at a suggestive command, or do I need to add pressure? And that's why I always say that your release needs to be totally different. I'm going to release for a subtle movement, which is pretty, like that's what we're looking for the finished product. Or if I need to go to the taps, it's no longer pretty, it's going to be a jump. You got to jump away from me. And the first time they jump away from me, I only need it to be minor so that I can build on that. So building on that would be the next time I send him, if he still didn't honor that suggestive push, then I add my taps until he jumps away with a bigger effort. He has more effort when he jumps away. Then I can, the next time I ask him, he does it from a suggestive pressure, I can quit and change sides and move on. So working in patterns is how we build one piece of the lesson at a time, and your library will take you through that. I just wanted you guys to understand and watch this pecking order take place so you get more of a visual when I'm talking about this in further lessons to come. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Take care, and see you on the next one.